Here we go.
Dozo.
What?
Dozo.
Dozo. What does that
Dozo.
mean?
Go ahead.
Dozo. Okay. Hey, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Born2BNerd Podcast. My name's Ethan.
I'm Lance.
And today, we're going to be talking about Pokemon.
Lots of
Craziness.
Yeah, lots of craziness. It's pretty, what's the word, controversial topic at the moment.
I don't think it's even controversial. I think you either...
That's true.
I think you actually are invested into the hobby, or you're just out for monetary. Like, that's all it is. It's you're capitalizing on a gorged market, or you're not able to get anything.
Right.
Like, those are kind of the only 2 points of it. And like, we were talking about it beforehand, and just to let everybody, like, I don't want to make this whole episode like a negative thing, but like, what just happened today? So today is the 9th of January, 2025. A new set dropped. I didn't even know that it was dropping.
Right.
I think a lot of people didn't know that it was dropping. The entire Pokemon Center website was completely sold out of what is it? Journey.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it.
I didn't know anything about it until you texted me.
I know.
And I'm actually really upset because it's focused on N, and I love N. I love
Journey
N.
Together.
Yeah. I love N, and the fact that like I didn't know this was coming out today. Maybe we could have looked it up on release dates, but I don't think it would have mattered.
It wasn't. It's already been pre-ordered over in and released. The set list of cards that's been released over in Japan, but there's been no date of when it was going to release in North America.
Yeah.
So I woke up, and this is at like 9:15 Eastern Standard Time when I saw this. 9:15, 9:30.
Pretty
look
early.
on you, huh?
Pretty early.
Early. I look over on YouTube just to go through, find a nice little like video to watch while I'm cooking some breakfast, and I saw this one YouTuber, Nostalgianomics, who kind of has a point of view of Pokemon as like an investment. He takes an investment stance on things as opposed to like the TCG as a whole, or like the collectability of things. So he posted something, and it said something about Journey Together, and I was like, what is that? And I clicked on it, and he kind of broke down, like, he's kind of cynical and snarky in like that's just his whole brand or whatever, but he does give good information. But he was saying that there was a new set that just got released, and I was like, what? So I immediately clicked over, and I was like, no, I've never even, I knew that we were getting a Gym Heroes like style set that was going to be released, but there's been no dates on it, so
yeah.
I wasn't. And the pre-release for Prismatic Evolutions hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah,
it usually starts right after the new set. Pre-order starts right after the new set drops, and or around that time. And so I wasn't even paying attention, and I looked. Everything was sold out, like unavailable. The Elite Trainer box, booster bundle, individual singles, all done, all gone. No chance in hell you're getting something. And apparently, it's sold out in like instantly.
Yeah,
like there wasn't a chance for anybody to get anything. Like, and if you weren't somebody who had bot accounts where you're doing like hundreds of buys at a time, or if you're somebody who knew that it was going to have, I don't know how you would have even known that it was going to drop that day, or if like you're somebody that religiously checks every morning at 7 a.m., you know what I mean? Like you couldn't got it. And I even looked into some of the comments, and they're like, everyone who was like an actual person commenting said the same thing. They're like, dude, the closest I got was getting 2 ETBs, 2 booster bundles in my cart, and as soon as I went to go check out, the whole system was gone. Yeah, whole thing was down.
Yeah.
So it's wild, man.
Because when they did Prismatic Evolutions, I was able to pre-order the ETB because it said 2 per person.
Yep, 2 per person. I got 2, and I was like, sick, done, happy.
And it looks like they got rid of that for this one, I guess.
I'll tell you something. There are a lot of things going on, I think, that's making this shit happen. One of the contributors to this is Pokemon. Pokemon Company.
American Pokemon Company.
Yeah. NA, not Japan.
Yeah.
The idea, there's this rumor going around, like a bunch of people are saying it, a bunch of Poke YouTubers and influencers are saying it, right? That Pokemon, the supply for the cards, they can't meet the demand, right? And so they can't supply enough product. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Pokemon has been around for almost 25 years now. Well, no, this year will be the 25th, right?
No, we're getting close to 30.
30. Yeah,
we're getting close to 30. I think 2025 is going to be the 30th anniversary.
Yeah. So, it is. I'm an idiot. 30 years of being on top of the card market.
Yeah.
You're telling me that they haven't figured out supply and demand issues?
Yeah.
Japanese businessmen in 30 years haven't figured out how to combat supply issues of the biggest TCG on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, you expect me to believe that shit? Come on. Also, here's another little thing. So, Prismatic Evolutions, after when we made our order, I felt good about it, and then like the next couple days, it was sold out, right? Everyone's freaking out because you can't buy it anywhere or you can't pre-order it. A lot of the pre-orders, if you what was the date? I think it's if you ordered after November, it released on the 8th of November. If you bought it after the 10th, I think, all of those pre-orders are being backlogged. You're not going to get them until May, which is insane.
Yeah.
Right? That's crazy. Keep in mind, people are losing their shit because of this, because they're not going to get their cards until May.
Yeah.
Pokemon has already released a release schedule for every single Prismatic Evolutions product. We are going to be getting, from the day that it drops on the 17th of January, we're going to be getting a Pokemon product for Prismatic Evolutions being released up until September. There's going to be about 30 days every single month that they're going to be releasing a new Prismatic Evolutions product. That's not talking about reprints. This is already scheduled product that's
for this next year,
for this coming year. Like so, all you could buy on the 8th were the booster bundle, the ETBs
and the mystery boxes.
Yeah. So they're also going to be doing these coin packs, these 3-pack blisters, other promo blisters, the pouch, and then there's going to be the binder, the poster, and there's also going to be a UPC. Spread, dude. There's no reason for people to be losing their minds like they are and just like hoarder mentality, buying up everything.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be releasing it all throughout the year. You're going to have time to get your hands on the product. Like, to think that you won't is absurd. Also, to think that Pokemon didn't plan ahead of... This is a fucking Eevee set, dude.
Yeah.
This is an Eevee set on the heels of the biggest set in Sword and Shield, which was Evolving Skies. You could say Evolving Skies or Celebrations.
True.
One of those two. But it's the Eevee set, so we'll say on the heels of Evolving Skies. It's Evolving Skies 2.0. On the heels of 151, which was a banger for productivity and market gain.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely of the special sets, for sure, it's the number one seller for Pokemon of the Scarlet Violet generation, right?
Until
Surging Sparks. I think Surging Sparks is probably the biggest seller based on, again, what we're seeing right now of not being able to find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Unless you want to pay double, triple market value. It's the biggest release since then, right? So after seeing all this information, you're telling me that Pokemon didn't plan for this and be like, all right, we're going to print the shit out of this.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is it's a pre-order.
It's not even, okay. All right. So go ahead. And then I'm going to make another point after you get done with this.
It's a pre-order. So a pre-order, first of all, they can print product daily. They run factories that print. Just keep printing, keep cutting, like keep packaging those cards. You see your pre-orders coming through. You see how the numbers are looking. Print. There's nothing holding you back. The only thing that would be holding them back is what their margins of profit are. And so they're like, okay, if we printed this, then we get to that like Charizard UPC margin where no one's buying it because we overprinted it, you know?
Or the classic collection deal where they do something that's it's astronomically way too expensive. Right.
Yeah, the legacy
legacy, the premium collection or whatever it was called.
Yeah. The $400 one.
The $400 one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah.
A fantastic idea. Way unreasonable price point at the wrong fucking time.
Right.
Like if you honestly, with how things have changed, since I've got back into the hobby, since you got me back into the hobby back in 2023, 2022, whenever it was, when did Obsidian's Flames come out? Is that 2023? Or is that 2022?
Might be 2022.
2022. God, has it been that long?
Dude, time is going by so damn fast.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So since 2022, right? Amazon truck.
Mm.
One moment, please. Can you hear the dog?
It's not that loud.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not that loud. It's there, but it's not terrible.
Okay. Where was I going with this? Since 2022, right? If they had released with the amount of growth and popularity that Pokemon is seeing, this huge resurgence again, if they had released it now, it would have been a totally different. I think it still would have been overpriced, but people would have been willing to pay it because they couldn't get their hands on anything else.
Yeah.
But it's a similar thing, or it's the opposite thing where like they're saying that they had all this inventory, it didn't get scooped up, and you can find those boxes for like $180 now, which is insane. Or it's not insane. That's the thing. It's not insane. That's what it should have been.
That's fair.
With.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah. Like $200, in my opinion, $200 for that is like the top of what it should have ever been.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it's that specific product is a meant to be played product, right? So like that product wasn't made to be collected. It was meant to be like a family board game kind of thing. You keep it in your closet and you bring it out for like there's 3 pre-made decks.
Yeah.
And you use, it's like a board game. So it should have been a lot cheaper, but they overpriced it because they know they had their Charizard, and that they could try to make some money off of it.
They could, yeah. But it's Pokemon knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. I understand the business model of being like, we're going to hold back and we're not going to print to the point of financial risk. We're going to print to the point of where we're comfortable and we know that we're going to make a huge profit no matter what, because we know by this number of projections, based on those projections, this number will 100% sell out. We will have made all of our money and it doesn't matter after that, right?
Yeah.
I get that business model, but that's not what they do.
Right.
That's not it. They print the shit out of everything. They print and print and print. They don't lose that supply. All they do especially on these pre-orders, right? they set a set amount.
They limit,
of what they can pre-order to drive up this craze, and then you've got these dudes these influencers all over YouTube, all over Instagram, who are just perpetuating the same circle of bullshit. You gotta move now. You got to move now. Okay, well, I see that it's already pre-orders are already going up to $150 on Prismatic Evolutions for ETBs on TCG Trader. You want to go ahead and get them now? Go ahead and buy, dude, because I'm telling you, this is going to be a money set. You're going to hate not having this in your collection. Mm-hmm. And then so people do, and then the cycle continues. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And all of a sudden, like, what point are you going to tap out?
Yeah.
Like, there ain't no way in hell I'm looking at an ETB and being like, yeah, I'll pay $150 for an ETB.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
Like, no way, dude.
Especially because the thing is, with you and I, we have two options. Mm-hmm. We let's say we get the product, right? Yeah. Let's say we both pre-ordered this Prismatic Evolutions Pokemon Center ETB.
Yeah.
We did. So we get it. We have two options. We can open it and lose every bit of value that it holds.
Because let's be real here. The pull rates of the majority of Scarlet Violet era, not that great.
No.
Like, with the exception of Obsidian Flames, not good at all.
Right.
So you're gonna be fucking you're shooting for pulling pond water.
Right.
Opening these fucking boxes. Or option 2,
you leave it sealed. And then you're just a box collector.
A box collector. Yep.
And, then it becomes, you're basically, now it feels like the game isn't collecting, the game isn't playing, the game is either lottery or gambling.
How much
do you want to play the lottery or do you want to gamble? You choose. Yep. Which, I mean, lottery is gambling, or not lottery and gambling, sorry. Lottery or stocks. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. Lottery or stocks. Do you want to gamble or do you want to play the stock market?
Gamble with a more projected, more accurate projection of financial gain. Yeah.
And sometimes I fall into that because I get so afraid of losing the money that I had to invest into a product. So like I was able to get those 2 Japanese 151 booster boxes. Mm-hmm. I got those at market price.
Yeah.
They were, I ended up spending $90 because my friend got them for me. Mm-hmm. We both made Japanese accounts for her address and entered the Japanese lottery, which is how you get products like that in Japan. Mm-hmm. So we had to enter the lottery, which is like you have a high chance of winning, but when you win, it gives you the opportunity to pre-order a product.
Yeah.
So we both got it and we both pre-ordered one of the booster boxes and then she mailed them to me. So I spent $90 on 2 booster boxes that are basically being sold for $200 a piece here. My intentions were to open them immediately. I was going to open them on stream, and I held on to them for a little bit because I wanted to do a special event on stream. And then I held on to them a little longer. And then next thing you know, dang, these booster packs, like the booster boxes are being sold for $200. Yeah. The packs themselves, they were being, remember
I remember they were 10. I remember when they were 10.
Yeah. Me and you went to AWA and that guy was selling packs for $18 a pack.
Yeah.
$18 a pack.
And that was a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Yeah. That was when, and people were buying them. Like the booster box that he had was like half to less than half full. Mm-hmm. And so it got me scared. So I held on to it. I was like, if I open this, that's all that money gone. But then that defeats the purpose of the hobby, which is what I'm doing.
It defeats the purpose of, like, I mean, again, there are different methodologies and different ways of thinking about the hobby. Like, you can be a poke investor, you can be a collector, you can be someone that plays the TCG, you can do whatever the fuck you want to with it. But to me, at the end of the day, dude, Pokemon is about collecting. Like it's that's it. It's like part of the fun of buying a TCG card game is to open the cards. It's to rip packs and have fun with it, right? But with the surge of prices like that, like,
it becomes about the money.
It does. Like, at a certain point, like I say all the time, right? Like I say, like, growing up is giving up. I say that all the time. It's something that I really do believe. But when you have a mortgage, at some point you're like, okay, well, this could actually pay for a lot of things that I need in life, and to open them up on a chance that I might pull one card that doesn't, at this point, doesn't even equal the amount of what these boxes are going for.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You know? And it sucks. Like I think we talked about it before. Like I wish that this resale market, and I wish that like the value of Pokemon cards was dog shit. I wish that Pokemon cards were the least valuable TCG on the fucking planet.
Yeah.
So that I could afford to buy the cards.
Mm-hmm.
I could afford to open packs. I wouldn't feel any type of guilt about spending the amounts of money that you do on packs.
Yeah.
And opening them. Because another thing too is opening packs for me is part of it. We've already talked about that. Like I love it. But it's pushing me out of being able to do that. It's pushing a lot of people out of being able to do that into just card singles hunting. So you're going, and don't get me wrong, like buying singles is cool and it's fun. Like it's like, all right, I found one, doing a little bit of haggling, getting the price you want for it. It's cool, but it's not the same as pulling that card.
Right.
It's not the same. It'll never be the same.
Right.
So I think it takes away like the best part about the hobby.
Yeah. And not only that, but now with the way things are going with these sets in both printing and marketing, even the singles are becoming overpriced.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah. So like now the special secret rare Pikachu from Surging Sparks,
$400+ card.
For it to start at launch at
$260
premiere. That is crazy.
Insane.
The Greninja from Twilight Masquerades, right?
Yeah.
Hasn't even reached that price level yet.
Yeah.
We could have, like, whenever that set first released, if we didn't want to invest into all the product and pack openings, I could have bought that Greninja special art. It would have costed me maybe $80,
mm-hmm.
but that's the same price as buying maybe 2 ETBs and trying to hunt for it,
Mm-hmm.
But now they're coming out of the factory way out of our league in terms of price value,
Well, I saw this comment on who was it? I want to say it was like PTCG Radio, maybe, or maybe it was Nostalgia. It might have been on the Nostalgianomics guys channel on the comments section when he was talking about surge in prices. And one of the comments underneath it was Pokemon is an adult's game now. It's no longer for kids. And I was like, damn, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you think about that shit, it's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
Like, aside from going and getting like your kid like a couple random packs, you can't afford this shit anymore. Like for kids,
right?
Not happening, dude.
Yeah, I also saw a comment today that said this isn't a Pokemon hobby anymore. Or a Pokemon market. It's a FOMO market.
Totally, 100%. So, on that note, right?
Mm-hmm.
On that note, it feeds back into the whole like social media side of it, like the influencer side of it. And what I think a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of these people like pushing Pokemon on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, a lot of these people are affiliated with Pokemon.
Mm.
Some of them admit to it and they're like, hey, Pokemon sent me these cool things. Hey, Pokemon, by the way, there's new prismatic evolutions dropping on da-da-da. And they're pretty obvious with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them aren't. Some of them don't at all. And people don't realize that they're part of this circle that's just pushing numbers. Yeah. And if enough people, it's that thing is like, if enough people are saying it, it's got to be true, right? Pokemon they don't have enough. They can't match the supply. They can't match it. Enough people are saying that all over the internet. It's got to be true.
Yeah.
Come on. And it's driving up this like, if I don't get it now, I'm never going to be able to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, back in the day, like we were talking about, used to the trend was a set would release and then the hype would be there and it would be like, holy shit. And then you'd wait like 2 months, 2-3 months, and things would level out and then drop. And you'd be like, all right, now I can get on board. Because by that time, the next set was coming out. So everybody was dumping that stuff and they were jumping on the next set. And I was like, okay, now I can get in on what I get in on.
Yeah.
And you're a few months behind, but it doesn't matter. If you're a collector, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, me and you were able to get those 2 Twilight Masquerade boxes for like, what, $80 a piece?
Dude.
Yeah.
Twilight, Paradox Rifts, Obsidian Flames. Obsidian Flames was like a $70 box at one point, dude. Obsidian Flames. Which everybody said was like, this set is dog shit. Da 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 da. It was like, dude, this is the funnest set in the entire Scarlet Violet era so far. Because you actually got hits. And everyone was like, oh, they overprinted it. Oh, it doesn't matter because, you're pulling so much or the rarity goes down, blah, 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 blah. $70 box. It's over $180 right now.
Yeah.
Like what? I mean, I don't know, man. Seeing some of these, but even that was a year ago that was happening. Since Surging Sparks for sure, not Terrestrial Festival, Stellar Crown, it came out and everything stayed at MSRP. It never dropped below on the market, and that was the first one. Maybe it was Shroud of Fable. It was Shroud of Fable. They were right after each other. I think Stellar Crown was the first full set where I was like, why isn't this going down?
Yeah.
Like it's not increasing, but it's not going down.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because Surging Sparks came out right after it, right? Surging Sparks came out and it's only gone up. You can't find that shit anywhere. I mean, I looked out the other day, like when I called you, I found some at the vending machine. Mm-hmm. But like find them at Walmart or any kind of even your local game stores.
Yeah.
Not a chance. Target, not a chance, dude. So I don't know. This whole FOMO market, this whole FOMO like craze, guys, like it's okay. Like you don't have to buy it all when it comes out. Like you don't.
Yeah.
And it's just this. I feel like it's this amount of misinformation, dude, that's just being perpetuated online. It's like.
I saw a PSA today that was this person was saying, because Prismatic Evolutions some of it is releasing today, and
what?
There's people coming out with Prismatic Evolutions today. There are people posting videos of them with the products and things like that.
How? Like distributors?
No, like streamers and stuff.
Oh, yeah, they got it early from Pokemon Company?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
But I saw this PSA today was like, hey, when this product is actually released, things could get a little dangerous. So maybe don't go to the stores because people it might get violent. It's becoming like, have you seen that video?
Of the 151 stuff? Yes.
Yeah.
Grown ass adults, dude.
I saw one yesterday where they had Costco was literally opening for the release of the new box set, the one with the Blastoise and the Venusaur.
Yeah.
And they had like people were waiting outside, like a Black Friday event. They had security there, and they were limited everyone to 2 boxes per person because of the video of those people storming that pallet in the Costco.
Insane.
And I have never seen the releases like that happen apart from like these holiday events,
Yeah.
Like Black Friday, which we saw this year. Black Friday was one of the biggest busts that we've seen because people are so tired of capitalism. Well, people are so sick of it.
Especially like capitalism exploitation.
Yeah.
Like
but, we see people like society, like our society was kind of not blacklisting. What's it called? Boycotting Black Friday
for the
so all
past
these
10ish years, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was, this year I was watching these TikToks, people walking through Walmart on Black Friday when they had like these like lines set up and like these things and no one's there. It's just
Good.
empty. Yeah,
Good.
it was awesome. And then you see stuff like this and you're like, okay, see, this is what those do. Those Black Friday events that were crazy back in the earlier 2000s, that they were exploiting the customers by,
creating this sense of exclusivity and exclusion if you don't get here now.
Right. Yeah. And now it feels like the Pokemon market is doing that. And it's unfortunate because it's not only, we saw how like people died during those early 2000 Black Fridays. Like people
not even
were injured.
Dude, I mean, up until like 2 years ago, people were dying at Black Fridays, which is insane, dude. For a blender?
Yeah.
Like
for
what?
TV. Yeah. And now it looks like this Pokemon market is entering that phase where people might end up getting hurt. Okay, here's the Van Gogh collaboration.
Oh yeah, in the freaking museum.
Yeah, they stormed
in the
Van Gogh museum,
dude.
Where is that museum?
Netherlands,
Australia?
No, it's in the Netherlands.
But they stormed the Van Gogh museum and like actually like not vandalized, but kind of vandalized the museum.
Yeah,
like.
Or I mean, it was the gift shop area, but still, like it was part of the museum.
Yeah. It's just wild.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I say it all the time. Like growing up has given up, but I mean that in a sense of like don't lose your childhood sense of wonder, your childhood, your imagination, your sense of being able to think. Like willing or being able to think innocently, and when you let things like this just like
get too serious,
God, man, like it's a game.
Yeah, that's another thing. Whenever you bring that up, so it reminds me of Destiny. We had the Witch Queen DLC come out last year.
Yeah,
and whenever they release these big DLCs. They give people the option. This was kind of a new thing that happened maybe a couple years ago that a lot of people were upset about, where they're like, okay, for $100, you get the DLC, you get 4 seasons, which is like 4 battle passes that last the whole year, and you get 2 dungeons, some exclusives, whatever.
Yeah.
And this last one for the Witch Queen, I bought it. I got the $100 collection so that I would have the dungeons. I would have the season passes and everything. And I almost immediately, once the DLC came out, lost interest and lost my motivation to play, right? Because of all the stuff happening with Destiny, it just wasn't fun. It felt like it was too focused on monetization and less on the quality of what I had spent my money on.
Yeah.
And I just lost interest to play. And so the first season went by and I didn't get to play, which means the money that I spent on that season pass went to the trash. I didn't get any of those rewards and I felt really bad. I felt really guilty. And so the second season dropped and I tried to play to try to make my money's worth of stuff, of content and rewards. So I tried to get that season pass. I couldn't do it. I played for like a week and it just the game just feels so different that I just couldn't get invested.
Yeah.
And the third season just started and I had to talk to myself. I said, do you want to do this? Like you did spend the money, but if you make it about the money, you're still not going to have fun.
Yeah. Is the game bringing you happiness?
Yeah. And so I had to say, you know what? It's in the past. You don't want to play. It's not like it doesn't bring you joy. You're just going to have to let it go. And I think this is kind of, I'm reaching the same point with this where I can't let myself, like you said, growing up is giving up, but I also believe that maybe sometimes giving up is also the most youthful thing you can do.
Right.
When what's happening is taking you away from that childhood, like youthful, like idea or identity.
Right.
And right now it feels like this is becoming less of like a fun, joyful activity and more of this adult industry.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to be a part of that.
I don't either. I don't want to be a part of something where it's like, all right, if you don't have if you don't have insider trading information and you don't have $1,000 to immediately throw at a potential new set that you don't know what it's going to do, because at that point, that's all you're doing. Like you're either so in the weeds with it that you're just addicted to gambling that you have to buy it, right? Or you're so into it that it's just a financial proposition for you. That's all it is. So in order to make money, you got to spend money. So unless you have $1,000 to spend on the drop of a new set, so you can get as much product as you can so that you can offload it later, right? How is that Pokemon, dude?
Yeah.
How does that have anything to do with your childhood?
Right.
Like we joke about it all the time, but we're like I say, like when I die, right, I'm going to be burned with my Iron Rangers, my bomber jacket, and my fucking Pokemon cards.
Right, yeah.
I ain't never selling those, dude. I'm never selling my originals.
No.
Not a chance in hell.
No. They're gonna go with me to the next life like an Egyptian emperor.
Exactly. And we're gonna be fucking playing with the OG 151 in our version of Elysium. Like that's what we're gonna be fucking doing. All these
spirits are like, how do you have those? I brought these with me, dog.
Yeah, brought them with me, dude. Like, sorry,
like, I gave mine to my kids.
You got the Neo Genesis? I'm sorry, I should have been paying attention, kid. Yeah. But
I gave these to my kid for his college fund. Like, no, man, these are mine.
He sold them all, didn't go to college, and blew them on a Bangkok adventure.
Yeah.
He's having fun with a bunch of lady boys right now. Oh, wait. I don't know, man. It's just, it sucks because, like, again, even 2 years ago, it wasn't like this.
Yeah. Another detail. I did a tournament last week, and the rewards for winning are packs. You know, we talked about that. They were giving out
Surging Sparks.
No, no. They were giving out. What's the one before the
Temporal Forces? No, Stellar Crown.
Stellar Crown. They were giving out Stellar Crown packs.
Yeah.
And remember, me and you went to that tournament in Atlanta, and he was like, "You can have everything except these."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, but those are the ones I want."
Those are the ones I want.
It's like they like, you know,
they know.
Yeah, they know.
Well, I'll say this though. I will say this. On that note, I also went to a tournament a couple of weeks ago, the one that I got absolutely smoked at, I told you about. I will say it wasn't the same guy, Ed. It wasn't that. It was a booth in the back at Charlie's that did this one on Wednesday nights. The prize packs for that weren't the new Pokemon official prize packs because they're not a officially recognized league, right?
Yeah.
But I will say this about them. Surging Sparks was already up to $8 a pack. Okay. Which is fucking crazy because it had just come out.
Yeah.
A month before. It was already up at $8 a pack. And this place gave Surging Sparks as the prize packs.
Wow.
You got a Surging Sparks for playing, one for playing, and then one per win. Which I was like, I appreciate that shit. Like that kind of involvement in the hobby, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It just feels weird. It feels weird because like I'm also somebody who has a lot of interests. Like I have if you're looking in my freaking room, like I have a lot of different hobbies.
Well, and that's our theme, right? Our theme is like not just being a one lane nerd. It's about being nerds of like just
we're multifaceted nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, I mean, I guess I could spend $500 on this set to get like enough of it to make me feel like I participated in this new set. Or I could take that money and put it into my car.
Yeah.
And get a new downpipe. I can take that money and put it into a new bow. I can take that money and put it in some new Muay Thai gear because my shit's starting to get worn out. What makes more sense? What's going to bring you more joy?
Yeah, man, I think you should just take that money and put it in your tailpipe for sure.
I'm going to put it in my tailpipe. I'm not going to put it in my tailpipe. I'm going to put it in my downpipe.
No, put it right in your tailpipe.
You dork. It's actually called a J-pipe on my engine, which is...
Put it right in your A-pipe.
I'm going to put it in my J-pipe, boy. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels weird. And I'm not trying to be a total downer on this shit.
No, I mean, I think this deserves its fair criticism, and it deserves a scolding. Like, Pokemon Company deserves a bad boy.
Yeah, it does. Because they're pushing this whole thing. Like, it's not just the influencers, it is Pokemon.
It is. We were able to get pre-order the Prismatic Evolutions ETBs because they limit it to 2 per person.
Mm-hmm.
They could do that with every product that they put on their website forever. But they chose not to.
Yep.
They chose to let the bots take over and ruin it for everyone else, just like the Van Gogh event, Mm-hmm. And it's just
another thing too. This is something else that I was looking into. If you look at like over the past year alone, everyone's seeing this big, even people who aren't into Pokemon, they're seeing this big explosion of Pokemon again, right?
Yeah.
And so what you're seeing is a lot of people opening up their own LGs or LGS that are like their local game shop, local game store.
Mm-hmm.
But what those LGSs are, they're not game shops. They're rip and shippers. They're people who are on Whatnot just buy, but because they have a legal LGS, mm-hmm. they can buy from Pokemon Company and buy this wholesale stock, right? So what you're seeing, and that's the reason these real in-store local game shops who sell product to people locally who want to support their local game shop have to mark up their product because they're only getting legit. I was looking at the numbers today. They're getting 10 to 15% of the amount of the normal amount of stock that they would normally get. They're getting 10 to 15% of that because of all these other little LGSs that are opening up that are just people ripping shipping. They're people on Whatnot who are just buying a shit ton, opening up on stream to get views up and then selling it out. Yeah. Right. So that's another cause of these absurd price gougings, mm-hmm. And it sucks because when you find one, like when you find a shop that you want to support, like let's say I don't want to go to Walmart and support Walmart. Like I'd rather go to one of the little local booths in Charlie's, or I want to go to Wasteland or Level Up or wherever. You can't even do that because if it's a $5 markup, I fuck with that on an ETB, on a booster box. Like I want it to be competitive, but if it means that store gets 10 more sales than it wouldn't have, if I've gone somewhere else, then fine. Yeah. I'll do it. But I can't justify spending $100 more. You know what I mean? Because that's the price that they have to drive it up to because they don't have the product. Mm-hmm. It sucks.
And the thing is if they try to because my thought is if I had the store, I would try to hold on to my integrity and not do that. Then
but you have to. You end up having to.
If you don't, your customers aren't lost. The ones that get to take. They're not going to get that. What's going to happen is scalpers are going to see it. They're going to buy everything you have at market price,
all at once,
and then they're going to sell it.
They're going to. So if let's say the shit MSRPs for 160, they get it around 90, right? Yeah, that's what they would get it at. If they're over here and they let's say they put it up at 150 or 160 at MSRP. On TCG Player, it's already at 200, right? Mm-hmm. Well, or right now the boxes are like 250 for booster boxes, like Surging Sparks, let's say, for instance. If they do that, if they put it out at 160, even 170, what you're talking about is going to happen. Someone's going to come in there, they're going to buy every bit of it, and then they're going to do the same thing. They're going to take it over to TCG Player, take it over to eBay, and sell it for an absurd markup. And technically the local card shop wins in that they're selling it for a markup, but it's a fair markup because that's just MSRP, right? Whereas these other fuckers, they're just like making so much more money. They're it's exploit. It's what it is. It's exploitation. Like, it's just grimy, man. It's fucking grimy.
Very.
I don't know.
I'm curious to see if this is what the future of American Pokemon card collecting is, or if this is a phase.
100% is what it is. I think it absolutely is. I think what we're currently seeing is very similar to not to be like dogmatic, but like the economic bubble of the late 2000s, of like the real estate bubble. I think you're seeing the same thing until the bubble pops. It's going to keep getting worse and keep getting worse and keep getting worse.
Yeah.
And I think three things are going to happen. One, people are just going to keep head in the sand, and they're going to keep buying it because they want the NA cards. They want them. They want the English cards. They're going to keep buying them, right? Two, they're going to go over to the Japanese cards and start collecting the Japanese cards, because right now, I'll fucking say it. Right now, you can get terrestrial festival booster boxes, the Japanese versions, which is Terrestrial Festival, not Prismatic Evolutions, for $80 to $90.
Yeah, but you get 10 packs.
You get 10 packs, but you also get a guaranteed hit.
Yeah,
and the God packs, from what I was seeing, God or demigod packs are a lot more prevalent in the Japanese packs than they are in English packs.
Yeah.
So there's also that.
Yeah.
Option 3, and here's the third option, and it's the saddest one, I think. People pull out of the hobby completely.
Yeah.
It's what's going to happen. Or they're going to pull out of it long enough, until things calm down.
Yeah. My hopes, if I'm trying to stay hopeful, there's nothing I can do to combat the market right now and the way people are handling it. My hope is that I'll just keep doing what I've been doing, which is if it's out of my price range, I don't mess with it.
Let it go.
And then I keep an eye out, and if I see something, maybe a small 10 or something with that I know has some surging sparks or something, I'll pick it up. But I'm not gonna fight the system. I'm not gonna go hunting like everyone else. I'm just gonna have to chill. And if I miss my chance to get surging sparks, I miss my chance. And I'll have to treat it the same way I treated Destiny, where, I'm not gonna be able to I'm gonna miss out on some stuff. But if it keeps me from feeling let down or disappointed, then for me that's gonna be more worth it.
Yeah. And again, we are adults.
Yeah.
We have the frontal lobe development to recognize okay, something's off on this one. Let's just not.
Right.
Let's hold off until the next one or the one after that seems more reasonable, and just buy that set. Let the people fight over this set. Fine. Right. I'll be honest too. I think the cards look great. All the EVs and stuff, they look great. They're not my fucking favorite.
Yeah.
They're not. I think that the card design with a lot of the terrestrial EXs, it's cool, but the majority of the time you can't even see what's going on the card.
Yeah.
Because they use this weird, it's not like the typical Pokemon art. It's this block art where everything fits kind of like a diamond.
Like stained glass.
Yeah, like stained glass. And I get it. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it does work. Like the Flareon and I think the Sylveon looks really good. The Umbreon's honestly a little bit.
Sylveon looks amazing.
The Umbreon's honestly a little bit too dark for my taste. But you look at the Dragapult that came out for it, and it's you can't even see that. You can't see what the fuck it is. I don't know, man. I want it. I want it. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to take a step back and just be I'm an adult. I have the ability to make this decision for myself, recognize a problem, and deviate from that situation.
Yeah. Well, when you and I, when we take our trip, we'll go to the Pokemon Center there and we'll buy some Japanese stuff.
Sorry to be up on a soapbox, guys.
Yeah. At least seems like the TCG part has been still, remained fun.
It's super fun to me. I mean, I got my ass kicked the last league night that I went to, but
yeah. Well, you and I still have very little exposure into the TCG side of things so far. Even with the, you've put a little bit more time in it than I have. You watch tournaments like crazy.
Yeah.
I can never I always lose focus when I try to watch other people play.
Yeah.
But regardless, both of us compared to the actual community, we're pretty new to it.
Oh, so, yeah. Yeah.
When we show up, the people that we're going up against have been doing this for a while.
Tryhards, dude. Yeah. I mean, when I tell you the first time I pulled up to the one over at Charlie's and I asked the dude, because this isn't an official, again, guys, this is not an official league night tournament. There are no official prize packs. This is just one that the guys at some of the shop owners at Charlie's puts on.
Yeah.
There's no stakes for league points, for league packs, for anything. There's no stakes. So I show up and I'm like, oh, this is going to be really just a fun, chill event. The first guy that I talked to, I'm like, hey, man, how long have you been playing? He's like, oh, a year and a half, 2 years. And I was like, oh, you ever get to go to any regionals or anything? He's like, oh, yeah, I went to Worlds last year. I'm just like,
yeah.
You fucking what, when? Are you serious right now? And then everybody was like, oh, yeah, I've been to three regionals this year. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what?
You're traveling for this.
You're traveling for this game?
Yeah.
Dude, and it's the same thing. I mean, there's my point in all that is that any league night you go to, there's going to be different levels, right? And that finding a casual level of play is honestly really fucking hard. Because what it seems like, people are either really into it to the point where they are spending money to go to these tournaments, to go to these events, or they're kind of like you and me, who the majority of the time they get to play on TCG Live, which, look, it's very different. And that's something that was you can play as many games as you want on TCG Live and go to play in real life and drastically different experiences. Because in TCG Live, the game is doing so much of it for you.
Right.
It's shuffling the cards. It's tackling the randomization of everything. It's taking you. It doesn't let you do certain things with within your turn. Mm-hmm. If you've already spent an energy for turn, or let's say an ability is locked because of something else, it won't let you sequence. So it makes you sequence correctly. Whereas you're in real life and you're trying to go, and then all of a sudden someone stops you and they're like, you can't do that. And you're like, what are you talking about? And it's and they try to explain it to you. Or you're shuffling and you do a search engine.
Falls out.
I was going to say, yeah, a fucking card comes out that the owner comes up at the end of the game and was like, oh, is this yours?
Yeah.
Fuck! That's why I couldn't find it anywhere. That happens. Or you're killing your own time, where you're doing a search engine. You go to search. Normally after that, you would, if you're going to play another search engine card, you don't shuffle.
Right.
Right? You just play that and then go back in. If you're doing that again, play another search engine, go back in, and then you shuffle. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the game, every time that you go into your deck, it automatically shuffles.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. So you don't think about it. But in real life, you have to be cognizant of, do I need to shuffle each time? Or am I just going right back in? Because if you shuffle each time and then you play another search card, your opponent's going to fucking hate you. They're going to be like, dude, you're time stealing. Yeah. You're straight up working the clock. And you're not even trying to, you know what I mean? But you just lack that experience. You lack the reps in order to do it the way that the game is supposed to be played. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. There's levels to all of it, I guess, is my main point of it. But it's still fun. It's really fun.
Yeah.
You just got to get better at it.
Yeah.
Don't suck.
I think playing, just practicing more. I can only make it to a couple league nights a month, so I'm limited to the amount of live practice that I can get. But I do want to get into it more.
Yeah, we were talking about a little bit ago about. I think I might maybe like looking for a new deck to play, just based off of my in real life experiences and how I perform on the game. Something about it is just not clicking with me and the Dawn at this moment in time. And I know the problem's me, but at this junction, I need a deck that's a little bit easier to pilot with my skill level.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was the same way with me. Remember when I first got into it and I was like, I can't play this deck.
Difficult decks of the game to play.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. My brain can't, because I watch these players play these decks and they're able to like, their foresight on what they could draw.
They're 3 moves ahead every single time. Yeah.
They're planning, they're thinking about what their opponents could play in the future, which I do not know enough about the game to know what my opponent could be doing.
Yeah.
There's no, you have to know every single card, every single deck. like,
yeah.
And we just don't play enough for that.
Filthy casuals. What can I say?
Yeah. So like, I'm on the same boat where sometimes you have to know, like, look, I know that this deck is the best. I'm not going to be able to use it the way it needs to be used. So
yeah. You got to know when to hold them. Got to know when to fold them.
Sometimes you can take a less, like my deck, my Garchomp deck is super anti-meta. It's not the strongest deck out there, but I played it against this like high level player at that tournament. He had like full championship gear. Like he was a high level player and I almost beat him. And he was stumped. He did not know what he was going to do. He only won by like some like little tricks at the very end,
Yeah.
And so sometimes the deck just doesn't, like, it's not about the deck. It's about, or not about the player. It's about, or not about the deck. It's about the player. Sometimes.
I think most times it is about the player.
Yeah. But like, having the best deck is what I mean. Like having the best deck in the meta doesn't always matter. Sometimes you can choose a lesser deck and just outplay your opponent,
But then on the other opposite side of that, you have the decks like Charizard was this past year. That's it's just too easy. Like I built that deck and I played it, and even though I was winning, I took that thing to a few league nights, and I did so much better with that deck than I did with Miraidon. But there are some decks that like you don't play. The deck plays you.
Yeah.
And that's one of those decks, dude. Like everything, it works. To me, it works. If you're just into winning, that deck's perfect for you.
Yeah.
Not right now because there's so many Dragos out there. Like there's so many Reggie Drago decks floating around in the pools. It's not a good time for Zard. But come rotation, it will be, because Drago will be gone, and for the most part, Zard will be unchanged. But if you actually if you like to be involved with the game and you like to be involved with like the individual match and the turn per turn, and you're like, I'm doing this, like I'm the one I'm also like, you're problem solving. Like little problems will come up and you're like, bam, if I do this, and then, look, wasn't expecting it. I got around the problem. If you're into that kind of thing, Charizard's not the answer for you. Like it's not the deck for you, because it's so easy to play. It's too consistent for that style of game. But if you like to solve problems, other decks are going to be more suited for you. So I don't know. Everybody has their own play style, and it just depends on what's fun to you. If it's just about winning, play Zard, play Drago.
Yeah.
But if you want to experience the game, I guess maybe is the better way to put it, then choose a deck that you actually like playing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, well, you say, you talk about the deck that plays you. Do you feel like, because I know you've told me that you're considering Golden Go or Goldengo. Do you think that's a deck that, you don't think that that's a deck that kind of plays you a little?
I don't know.
Like it kind of is.
I don't know. I know that it has slightly more unfavorable matchups in some of the bigger decks, so it makes it harder to play. I think that it is a very consistent deck, which makes it a good deck.
Yeah.
As far as like being able to get it, Golden Go is kind of its own draw engine, and then you have your energy accelerants, as you will with the super energy or whatever it is, and then your energy stickers and everything else that you put in there. But I don't think it's as self-sufficient as like a Charizard EX deck is. Having played both of them, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
It's something. I think it's a different beast.
Okay.
Yeah. But on the other side of that, I do think it's way more consistent than like Miraidon is.
Yeah.
Like I love Miraidon, but Jesus.
Yeah. The generators.
That's the problem. Is like when your whole strategy for getting energy out on the board is reliant on something like an electric generator, which is a luck draw.
Yeah.
It's hard. Especially when you don't hit them.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know what to expect with this new meta shift coming up. We don't have a confirmed date yet, do we?
Yeah.
On the meta shift. It's March?
It's April, I believe. Or is it March? It's somewhere around there. It's in the spring. I mean, yeah, all of the F series cards are gone. So all of Sword and Shield are officially gone.
Yeah.
Which will, I mean, it'll be pretty big, which means all the V stars are gone. V star, V max, 4 seal stones.
Yeah. So many of my decks almost all of my decks are gone when the meta shifts. You know what? And this kind of leads us back into like the original conversation we started. Most of I have so much bulk I've collected over the past few years to, try to do my little markets and stuff. I have probably 1 million cards if I had to guess, like I have so many cards. And
I've moved you from apartments. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all from Sword and Shield mostly.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, they're basically all from Sword and Shield.
The majority, yeah.
And apart from the fact that they go into these mystery boxes and things that I'm trying to make, I also use them for deck building. I would find these deck lists of things I want to try, and I had all this bulk that I could go through. Now, with the meta shift, I can only use, Scarlet Violet. And now Scarlet Violet is so hard to get. These new Scarlet Violet sets are
yeah.
It's just so hard to get. Well, and a lot of the best cards are coming from these newer sets,
Yeah.
Night Stretcher, like some of the other cards that you got for Miraidon,
Yeah, I mean, they definitely are. I mean, when it comes to ace specs, yeah, I mean, that's the better ace specs are pricey. Your Unfair Stamp, I think even Secret Box has gone up in the past month. It was like $1 card. Like it was so cheap. Now it's creeped up. I don't even know how much expensive it is. What is it? The Switch, the boss Switch. Damn it! Everybody uses it.
Prime Catcher,
or
Counter Catcher.
Prime Catcher. That is, I mean, it's like a $25-$30 card.
Yeah,
like it's insane.
Is it still up even after the Charizard?
Even after the Charizard, deck? Yeah, it's still up. And then, but a lot of the cards, aside from the ace specs, it's okay. Like, because you can buy, you don't have to get an art rare, you don't have to get a full art. You can get the regular base card, the common card, like really easily. Like it's really not that bad. Like when I went to go get like the Area Zero Undergrounds, like it had just come out, right? Like literally that week when I bought it. That's why it was like $1 or $1.50. Now they're, I don't know, 30 cents.
Well, for me, if I'm thinking about using the Dragapult EX deck, there are a lot of cards that I do not have, you know?
Hmm.
And so I'm probably gonna have to drop like $100 to get everything I need.
I bet you couldn't. I bet you could spend probably 60.
I could spend what?
I bet you could spend around 60, 65 and get that deck built. With the amount of cards that you have, I know you say you don't have a lot of the newer cards, but I think you could. I think you could spend around 60 to 65 and you'd have that deck built. Especially because like the Dragapults, they also had like, even if you wanted a full art or something, of it, like the Dragapults came out with a Dragapult box.
Mhm.
So those cards are everywhere now. Like they're not like it was when that deck first came out. Like they've reprinted that card twice already, I think.
Yeah.
So,
but like, even cards like
but
Buddy
I get
Poffin,
what you're saying.
Buddy Poffin, the regular ones are still over $1. They're like $1.80 a card,
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I don't have that many Buddy Poffins.
Are you sure?
Don't you fact check me.
I'm about to fact check you the shit out of you right now.
Night Stretcher, I think, was at like 2 something.
No.
Luckily, I got that Shrouded Fable ETB. I pulled 1 Night Stretcher and 1 Dusk Noir, which is good.
All right. Well, you're not too far off, actually. It's like $2 for a Night Stretcher. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one you said? Buddy Poffin?
Buddy Poffin, yeah.
Yeah, Buddy Poffins are like 60 cents. When did the first Buddy Poffin come out? Was that Scarlet Violet 5? What was that? Temporal Forces?
It might have been Scarlet Violet base set.
Yeah. No, the first one that came out was Temporal Forces. And that's that is probably, aside from Scarlet Violet base, the most inexpensive set in Scarlet Violet so far.
Yeah.
Like it's really, really cheap. So okay. Well, you feel good about that?
Yeah.
I don't know how much more you want to get into.
It's up to you. How do you feel? Is there something that that's kind of on your mind about it?
About what I've already aired my grievances about all that. About playing the game. I don't know. I mean, I know here's the thing is that this is the part of me with everything, with guitar, with Muay Thai, with my bow, with Pokemon. I know what I need to do to get better with Japanese. I know what I need to do. It's just time.
Yeah.
It's dedicated time to this specific interest in order to grow.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I think that's where people like us struggle. Is that people like us are jacks of all trades.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
But we're master of none.
Master of none.
Yeah. But jacks of all trades, I feel like is the more fun journey. Because I can dip my toes into anything and kind of like manage myself, I can kind of handle myself. I can, people like other people, they try and they can't even get into it because they're not the types of people, like we're used to trying new things.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever we get into something new, our brains go, all right, what do I do when I get into something new?
Mm-hmm.
You think about it from this side, you think about it from this side, and you're able to pick up pretty quickly,
Yeah.
And so, yes, we are below average in terms of competitiveness with the game. But if you think about how much time we've actually put into it, like,
yeah,
we're still able to hold our own, and we're also able to like take breaks and do other things and still be able to like keep up with it, keep
up and converse about it like intelligibly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's just sometimes you think about it and you're like, God, I wish I was just better at that thing.
Yeah. I wish I was a genius at everything, but
you wish you were a Joey.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
What an asshat. I'm just kidding. We love you, Joey.
Yeah. Well, whenever the meta shifts, things are going to change, and we'll have to revisit and see. It takes a few sets, right, for new cards to come out to kind of give people the routes that they need to bring these metas back. So, like when the Mew EX or Mew, what's it called?
VMAX.
VMAX left the meta. The meta just like tanked, and then everything got really quiet because people are like, what do we play? What do we do? What's big? What's gonna work? You know? And then a few sets in, people are like, oh, this new card came out. Buddy Poffin was released, and then it's like, okay, now we have our.
Yeah, you know, people were like, oh, you have Buddy Poffin, and now we can get Charizard going way faster.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, you play Bidoof with Pidgeot for Charizard?
Yeah.
Like, you can do that?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, you know, we're about to lose a lot of draw engines.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to lose the Greninja, the Radiant Greninja. We're going to lose Bidoof. Bibarel.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything is going to get really quiet as people are like, how are we going to get our cards out? You know, we're going to have one or two draw engines, and we're going to have to rely on I think that it's going to change how the game is played until another card comes out that's kind of like Bidoof or Bibarel and things like that, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, it should. Like, that's how they keep the game fresh, and how they keep it relevant is like it has to change. If you didn't change it, like it would become stagnant. Right. And so it's like, all right, so everyone is just playing these 3 decks. Yeah. And that's how you win. And you get like basically what Magic standard is. Yeah. Like that's what that is. Everyone plays the same 3 or I think it's like 6 decks that are just unstoppable. And there's like, if you don't play those, you stand no chance. There is no anti-meta in Magic. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you play those decks or you lose.
Yeah.
And so in order to avoid that, that's what Pokemon has to do. And it's okay. Like it's not scary. It's just like you learn this deck, you know, you learned this one, you became fluent, you became well adjusted with it. That one's gone now, but now you just learn another one. That's all it is. You just got to learn another one.
Yeah. We'll wait, you know, we'll see what comes out, and then we can kind of, especially once the meta actually changes and they retire the F series. Yeah. We can kind of, you know, it'll be quiet until we see some new cards come out and can kind of gather, you know, what's going to work and what's not going to work. And
yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to end it for us today. I feel like that was a good discussion. It was a productive discussion. Hopefully it wasn't too negative.
Or at least rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so. I think it's I think it was properly it was a proper observation of the state of things in this hobby that we both love. If you want to follow us, guys, you can head on over to Born2BNerd at YouTube. If you want to see Lance, you said that you were starting to stream a little bit.
Yeah, I streamed twice this week.
Yo! Yeah. So if you want to head over to Born2BNerd on Twitch, links are in the link tree below. How often do you think you're going to start doing that as a guesstimation?
It'll probably be every other week. Actually, no, because I work at max 4 days a week, unless I work some overtime. So maybe once a week if I can. So yeah, it'll be a nice regular occurrence, I believe, coming forward. I got to find some stuff to play because I've been struggling with what to stream.
I feel that.
It feels like gaming is a little odd right now. So maybe that can be our next topic.
Yeah. So head on over there. If you want a fun little moto vlog channel, you can head over to Throttle Fox Moto Photo. That's also in the link below. Trying to get better about posting more on that as well. New Year's resolution. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Later.